Assume that you're studying Western literature, but at the same time, not a member of any Western community. There would always be some kind of distance when reading those so-called canons. We, people in the field of humanities, read those writings done by the masters as Shakespeare, Freud, Foucault, Derrida, and many others, mostly white Europeans. Myself in that kind of situation, as an Asian student in English department, sometimes I ask myself, can I properly adopt their art and thoughts? Can I, really, as a student born and raised in the non-West for my whole life, properly enjoy Shakespeare's drama or exercise Western philosophy? Let's take, for example, René Descartes, the father of modern philosophy. I think, therefore I am. In his meditation, Descartes poses several questions. Are my senses reliable? Aren't I dreaming? Is my judgment reliable? The method of doubt. Through such hyperbolic skepticisms, he discovers the ultimate truth. Whatever he doubts, he is sure that he is thinking, therefore he is. This ontological status of a thinking man has become the foundation of universal philosophy. But is it really universal? Perhaps I'm not the only one who feels that distance from so-called universal philosophy. This philosopher, Charles Mills, confronts that naive belief in philosophical universalism. He himself, as a Caribbean black scholar from Jamaica, feels that philosophy seems to have been somewhat distanced from the black learners in general. From his own experience of teaching philosophy to the black students, he senses the distance between them, the black people, and the philosophy. He asks, what then is the source of blacks of a likely feeling of alienness, strangeness, of not being entirely at home in this conceptual world? Let's go back to Descartes' way of thinking again. What could be possibly alienating Mills and black learners from Descartes' method of doubt? Aren't everyone capable of doing the same what Descartes himself did? As Mills describes, the one who could follow Descartes' philosophical mode is Cartesian sum. He or she is a European modernity thinking of its own possibly unreliable perceptions, whether mind exists. However, Mills claims that there were human beings who are not approved for such mode of being, that is, sub-person, which is human in some respect but not in others. What Mills has in his mind is, of course, the black slaves at Descartes' time. They are the non-Cartesian sums, whom Descartes quite never addressed. Maybe I could explain the un-universalism of Cartesian philosophy by asking, where does Descartes start his examination? He starts from his sense of existence that he is here, sitting by the fire, wearing a winter dressing gown, holding this piece of paper in his hands, and so on. Inside the stove-heated room does he sit and start the project of doubting his own body. Is that starting point a universally available mode of thought? Can anyone do this? Probably not. Not at least back in Descartes' time. To black slaves who are loaded on the slave trade ships like commodities, whose all limbs are shackled, rolling over blood, excrements, corpse, and literally all those quote-unquote shits. To those sub-persons, to those non-Cartesian sums, are these questions, are my senses reliable, aren't I dreaming, is my judgment reliable, available? Can they pose these philosophical doubts? What a conceptual luxury to doubt one's own body in the middle of physical suffering. Mills, accordingly, defines the black philosophy as the philosophy of subpersons, of non-Cartesian sums, and urges the need for a totally new viewpoint, that the modern philosophy fails to be properly universal. Then what new plane would open in the viewpoint of subpersons those who are not addressed in the modern European philosophy. What could non-Cartesian sums do to modern philosophy? It is yet an open question, but it clearly states one thing. The philosophy we know is not for everyone, and the black philosophy could be the new start of critical theory.